All right, Tommy. So does that pretty much make sense about cubing? Is that pretty much clear in your head?
I think I have it, yeah.
Okay, good. Next thing we're going to do, Tommy, is we're going to move on to sequences. That sounds fun, right?
Yes.
Tommy, what we want to do is we want to be familiar with questions that you'll see on the test, such as, can you read this question for me, Tommy?
Find the next term of this number pattern. 2, 4, 6, 8, n.
What do you think n might be?
I think it would be 10.
Exactly. That's a pretty simple one. Obviously, you thought it was 10 because they were just increments of 2, right?
Yeah.
Pretty simple. But where it's going to get tricky on test day is when the test makers try to confuse you and trick you with their questions. What we want to first figure out is what is the question asking you for. So Tommy, can you read this next question for me?
What is the sum of the next three numbers in this sequence? 5, 10, 15, 20.
All right. What's the first approach you might take?
Well, they're in increments of 5. So I would guess that the next three numbers would be 25, 30, and 35.
Right. So what would your answer be?
Well, if I have to add 25, 30, and 35, I think that okay.
Perfect.
90.
Exactly. Good job, Tommy, because where most people will get tricked, they would say 25, right? Because just like the last question went by increments of 2, this one, like you said, went by increments of 5. And so the quick answer and the incorrect answer would have been 25, right?
Right.
And that's why the trick maker is going to try to test you, because they want you to say, okay, well, that number here is going to be 25, so my answer is 25. But that's wrong, because what are they looking for?
The sum.
Exactly. The sum of the next three numbers, not just the next three numbers. Excellent job, Tommy. You didn't fall for that trick. And as we touched on earlier today, and we'll touch on later in the course too, much of the SAT is about understanding what's being asked of you and then reasoning towards a solution. So let's take a look at the workbook, Tommy, because quickly I want to touch on a couple questions that you can answer yourself here. Number 1, take a look at that question. Can you read that for me?
Is the answer to this problem odd or even?
Great. I'm actually going to give you the pen, and you're going to take the pen, and I want you to circle the correct answer.
Okay.
An even number times an odd number. Would that answer be odd or even?
That would be even.
All right. You can circle that number right there. All right, Tommy, and how about the second one?
Is the answer to this problem odd or even? An even number plus an odd number. That's going to be odd.
Right, and what was the difference between the first question and the second?
Well, the first one was multiplication. The second one was addition.
Exactly. So again, being very careful what they're asking you for. A common mistake is to look at these two questions quickly and think it's the same thing. But you were smart enough and perceptive enough to see the first one was multiplication and the next one was addition. All right, I'm going to take control of the keyboard back, Tommy, and we're going to scroll back down. All right, we're going to scroll down to the bottom and check out the answers here. You were exactly right on those two. You said even and then odd. So we'll scroll down, and we'll go back through the rest of those in just a minute, but even and then odd. So excellent job on those two questions. Any questions on those?
No, I think that's pretty straightforward.
Good. Does it make sense from a lot of the things we talked about in the last half hour and then just a minute ago with some of the sequences?
Yes.
Excellent, Tommy. Good job so far. You hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good. You having fun?
Yeah.
All right. Great. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on, Tommy, and I told you there were different sections of the math section. We're going to deal with algebra and functions. All right, Tommy?
Okay.